Haven't heard, Alex Cimo, legendary content creator, and my friend passed away from stage 4 colon cancer just a couple days ago now. Normally, my way of dealing with bad things is to just ignore them entirely and pretend they didn't happen, but I felt like I owed it to Alex and to the Yu-Gi-Oh community to make a video sharing some of my memories with him. And I do encourage you, if you ever met him along the, years at YCSs or events, or even if you just had an online interaction with him, please post in the comment section below. I think that is the best way to keep the memory of someone alive, just sharing good thoughts, good times with them. So I have known Alex, this is just kind of off the cuff, by the way. I have a couple notes, my head's just kind of all over the place, but I've known Alex for over a decade. If you guys have been around in the Yu-Gi tubing community for a while, you probably already know that, but we both started really posting or sort of making a name for ourselves in early 2014, and for very much of our early careers, we were neck and neck. We were always kind of two peas in a pod. Were we? I don't know, but we were good friends, and we had a couple funny moments. I think the earliest time that we collaborated was back when I didn't post my face in videos. I did a face reveal, and I dubbed over him talking, and that was I even still get some comments on that randomly these days, but that was just a funny thing that I remember that he was down to do. And if you see me at an event, please feel free to come up and say, "Hello, Dzeef, how's it going?" That's all I have to say, guys. I'll see you at YCS Dallas. And, I think that at the end of the day, Alex was someone that was always down to help someone out. And he was just the kindest person, just a really good guy all around. In 2017 at YCS Dallas, we stayed together at John Moore's house. And that was just, I don't know for him, but for me, it was a critical turning point in my career. That was the weekend where, I learned about monetizing videos and how to make content into a job. John Moore knew a ton, and I feel like I and possibly Alex learned a lot from him over that weekend. But more importantly, I felt like we really became friends that weekend. We had a really fun live stream or two, I can't remember at this point, that we ran at John Moore's house, just shooting the shit, playing some Yu-Gi-Oh. I think there was a game out there, even still somewhere, that was me playing Frogs versus his Spiral. I think it was full power Spiral format, Firewall FTK, etc., etc. But I really loved that weekend. It was one of the first times that I'd really done a Yu-Gi-Oh weekend with content creators instead of people that I already knew from my hometown. And I felt like I came out of that weekend with just a really great experience and some new friends. There's a number of videos on my channel from that time period. I did a shit post. I guess I was always doing shit posts with Alex, but yeah, I did a shit post. We did a couple random collabs, and it was a fun time. Creatively, Alex is unmatched. I mean, we have to acknowledge that for sure, right? Without Progression series, Master Saga doesn't exist. Basically every similar series doesn't exist. Prog is the Yu-Gi tuber series, the Yu-Gi-Oh video. It is just crazy to imagine what the landscape of Yu-Gi tubing would look like without Alex Cimo in it. And not even just Progression series. He was so ahead of the curve in so many different eras. It is just mind-boggling. As a fellow creative myself, I am just continuously blown away at how ahead of the curve he was. His mind was just... He was built for this shit. That's the best way that I can explain it. Some of you may know that in the 2020s, I definitely had sort of, beef with him or some shit that, at this point seems inconsequential. And I realized over several years, maybe too many years, that wasn't really beef. It was just stuff I made up in my head and then put on to him. And, you know, it took me a long time to come around to that. And I was so nervous reaching out to him after all that time period. But I did. And I said, you know, not that we have to do anything together or collab or anything, but I just wanted to let you know that I've now come to the realization that I was just being stupid for no reason, demonizing you in my head, and I'm sorry. And to my surprise, he accepted the apology wholeheartedly. He offered to collab. He said, you know, I'm glad that you were able to come to me. And yeah, it was just this big moment where, like, as if I hadn't realized it already, the version that I had of him in my head didn't exist. And the same kind Alex that I'd always known was still in there. I just couldn't see it. That was a huge moment of forgiveness, and I was so grateful. I felt so embarrassed, and he didn't have to do that. He could have just said, you know, fuck off. Like, I mean, I was online, you know, making jokes and stuff, and it's just, he didn't have to do that, and he did, because that's the type of person that he was. And even after that moment, you know, I was grateful to have buried the hatchet. We would go back and forth, you know, every month or so, talking about, I mean, I remember I was talking about Full Metal Alchemist with him, Brotherhood and the regular version, and he was really passionate about that show, and I knew that. So when I started watching it, you know, I was messaging him every time I would finish like an episode that was a huge revelation, which is a lot of episodes, and he was always so excited to talk about it, you know. And I just I really liked having someone that I could go to, because there's nothing better than talking to someone about what they're passionate about. And I think at the end of the day, you know, that's really what it was, not only with something like Full Metal Alchemist, but also with Yu-Gi-Oh! And content creation and life. I think that, you know, one thing about Alex is that he really lived his life to the fullest. He put himself out there, he traveled, he did so much good work in the world, worked with charities, I mean, all sorts of stuff. Just a true, I mean, as cliche as it sounds, a true inspiration to us all. I don't even want to go into this. It's been a tough week for me. On the same day, actually, I didn't find out until a couple days later, but on the same day that Alex passed away, my dad passed away. And it's been, I'm not trying to make this about me, but it's been a tough couple days, and facing a lot of death out there in the world. And, you know, if I can get anything across here in this video, you know, that I've been thinking about the last couple days here, it's that it's not worth it to hold grudges. There's just not enough time. And, you know, I think there's moments in your life where you have an argument, and then it gets built up in your head over time, and then, you know, you think about it years later and it seems so silly. And I don't know if you guys have friendships like that in your life or whatever, or maybe with your family you have difficult situations like that, and, you know, dynamics that are not easy, not simple. Life is not simple. But I think that if there's anything I've learned over the last couple days here, it's that it is not worth just keeping it all in for the sake of, you know, keeping it all in. You know, people talk about don't burn bridges, and I think that is absolutely true. But I think it's also true that even if you have burned a bridge, you know, maybe you can build it back up with the other person together. And, you know, I think, I know I'm just talking in circles now, but truly, you know, I hope that when you see these things happen, the thing that goes through your head should be that you should be there for the people in your life. Not that you should feel obligated to, you know, be at their beck and call, but just be there for people, and they'll be there for you. And I think that, you know, if I could have a half of the, you know, mindset that Alex has been able to have over the last couple of years here in terms of fighting the good fight against all the shit that's been going on behind the scenes, I think we would all come out better people if we were half as good as he was. He was a hell of a guy. I don't know what else I got to say here. I just kind of wanted to talk about him, memorialize him in some way. Please comment below if you have any good memories of Alex. And that's what I got today. See you guys later.